Wiggins from the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. We're going to talk about PBL and the way you are using it in your courses in the University of Strathclyde. So, why use a PBL as a method of learning for students compared to a more traditional methods?
I think one of the reasons why we use PBL is to help engage the students and get them enthusiastic about psychology again. They're much more active, they can think for themselves, and it's much more creative. And I think if the students are motivated, if they're interested, they're much more likely to want to learn, and then they figure out that learning is really fun in itself, and so that becomes a goal too.
What does students gain from studying a curriculum with PBL compared to traditional methods?
I think with PBL they learn not only about the topic area and learn that in a new way, but they also learn skills about how to interact with their peers, how to manage disputes or differences of opinion. They learn skills of thinking for themselves and not relying on the tutor to guide them and so on. So they learn about the topic, but they also learn how to learn and learn to think for themselves.
Yeah, so it's broader than just knowledge skills.
Exactly. They learn a whole lot of skills that will then help them in their future employment and life skills, really, in terms of getting on with people. And yeah.
What signifies PBL for you?
For me, I think PBL is about creativity and confidence, building confident students, and collaboration. So students think and learn in creative ways. They learn together with their peers, and they gain confidence as individuals. So they have confidence in their own beliefs and their knowledge and their skills to be able to go on and do other things. So those three things, I think.
What are the challenges with problem-based learning for students and for tutors?
Okay, so the challenges I think for students with problem-based learning is that they can often be very uncertain at first and not really sure what they're doing. As they go on, that uncertainty sort of fades away and they become more confident and they have a better understanding of what they're doing. But at first that can be a challenge to know this is a very new thing, and how are they going to learn with this new system. For the challenges, I think, for staff are also uncertainty. This is often a new area for staff in terms of teaching, and also thinking about how PBL might fit in with other ways of teaching and learning at a particular institution or a particular course. How we also need to rethink how we learn and how we teach. So, but I think these challenges can be overcome. It's just a matter of time and building up confidence and experience in the area.
Are there different ways to apply PBL in a course?
Yeah, I think absolutely there are different ways of applying PBL in a course. It depends on whether students have had experience of PBL before. So some of our students, for example, are very new to PBL, so we have maybe more structured problems that guide them a wee bit more carefully through the problem, or they give a little bit more reassurance at certain points in time. And then as students progress and build on their skills and confidence, and then they can PBL can be applied in a much more creative ways and different ways and freer ways, if you like.
What are the developmental potentials for PBL in on a longer time perspective for a student, for example, during several semesters?
I think students can have more, so developmentally students can have more of an input into the PBL process. So as they develop their own skills and learning, they can help develop new problem-based scenarios, for example, or new problems. They can get more involved in the process as tutors themselves. So they can maybe help tutor other groups, or they can help develop problems. So as their skills grow, they can become more involved in the whole process of PBL. So we've been using PBL a little bit already, and we're going to be continuing to use PBL across different areas of our psychology program. we're also thinking about how we can develop research into PBL. So we're having an understanding not just from a teaching and learning perspective, but how we can understand the interaction, for example, in PBL tutorials. And we're starting to do research that looks at student interaction, student and tutor interaction in tutorials, and looking at how research can on dialogue, on conversation, can inform our understanding of PBL as a learning process. So that's how we're hoping to develop it in terms of teaching and research.
I'm thinking about, because here we write like contracts in the beginning of our groups, which dictates what the group wants, how we want to use like technological devices, etc.
Yes.
Do your students use these like contracts as well? Or,
yeah. In fact, that's the use of the group contract is something that we've been inspired by Linköpings and how it's been used here. That's been helpful for us in terms of rethinking our use of PBL. So we do spend quite a bit of time in the first session when students meet going through the group contract and getting to think about things like what happens if someone misses sessions. How do they catch up? Is it their responsibility? Is it the other group members? And things like the use of phones. We used to say, no phones, they're just disruptive, but actually, technology is developing. Students can use phones, they can use tablets or laptops in really exciting ways. And especially if you're in a university or a room which doesn't have access to computers, students need some way sometimes to check things out just on the spot. So we're a bit more open about encouraging them to use mobile phones or tablets to allow them to do that. But it's about asking them to make explicit to each other how they're using it, and that they, to get other people involved in their phone and say, look, I found this on my phone, rather than, look, here's a picture on Facebook, for example. So it's getting us to rethink technology use in the classroom in different ways and in very productive ways, and working with technology and working with change rather than seeing this as a threat to group work.
Yeah, and I can imagine the research there as well, covering how it is being used. Exactly,
and there's a whole range of research in ethnomethodology, in sociology, in geography, that looks at all these kind of things, how people make use of space, how people make use of technology. So we can draw on all that research, and that can then help us to think about how we can apply it, how we can use it as well.